sentence directed to the Director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for that purpose. Clerk shall deliver such warrant to the Sheriff of this county and to be by him delivered to the Director of the Department of Criminal Justice together with you, and you will remain to the custody of the Tarrant County Jail to await transportation to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice at Huntsville, Texas, and the execution of this sentence. I will sign this death sentence as required by law. Your appeal of the finding of this guilt by the jury and their determination of the answers to the question in this sentence are automatically appealed to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals in Austin, Texas. You will be appointed a lawyer to represent you on direct appeal, and your lawyer will receive a copy of the record of this case at no charge. You have the right to have a second lawyer to represent you on writs of habeas corpus. It's a separate matter from your direct appeal. Do you wish to have counsel appointed for your writ purposes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I will appoint you writ lawyers for that. Ms. Anderson, Mr. Goebel, if you will remain on his case pending his decision, and we have all the appellate paperwork filled out, I have received his acknowledgement certification of the right to appeal, and I appreciate you doing that. You may be seated. Is there an allocution? He may speak. He may speak from wherever he feels the most comfortable.
I'm Athena Strand. I'm Jacob's brother, Athena's uncle. There are no words that truly capture the devastation that Tanner Horner caused us and our family. What he took from this world was not just a child. He took a life, a future, and a piece of every single person who loved him. He took a granddaughter, a daughter, a niece, a cousin, and a friend. She would call me Uncle Elijah because she, for the longest time, couldn't say the Elijah part of my name. It was the best thing to see her running up to me with her arms open, yelling, Uncle Elijah. And that's one of my last memories I have of her. And now I get to never hear that again. Athena was more than a headline. She was laughter, curiosity, kindness, and innocence. And she had dreams that she will never get to chase. Birthdays that she will never celebrate. And a life she'll never get to live because of his actions. Our family has been left with an emptiness that can never be filled. I have 3 daughters, 2 that got to meet her and grow with her, and 1 that'll never meet. And he took that away from them as well, a cousin and a friend. He stole a sense of safety from all of us in our family. Me and my wife just got comfortable enough to let our kids play outside, and that's even in our backyard. It's not close to the road. He's robbed us of safety, peace, and our trust in the world, and forever changed who we are as a family. And and we are left to carry grief that never fades. We are left with questions that will still never have answers. And we are left trying to honor a beautiful little girl whose life was taken in the most senseless and horrific way. Tanner Horner, I want you to hear this directly. You did not just take a life, you destroyed a family. You took a little girl who trusted the world and repaid that innocence with violence. You chose to cause pain that will last generations. You say you found God, but what you did to Athena stands in direct opposition to everything that you now claim to believe. In Matthew 18:6, it says, if anyone causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for them to have a millstone hung around their neck than to be drowned. That is how seriously harm against a child is judged. And you will be judged. You will face the wrath of God. But I want you to know that you are nothing. You are a footnote in Athena's story. Her name will forever be remembered. Her name will forever be celebrated, and everyone will forget you. You wanted your 15 minutes of fame. You got it, and no one's going to remember you after this.
Mr. Staten, any other allocutions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Who's your prisoner, Sheriff? Ladies and gentlemen, this will conclude your service as jurors. I bet in December, don't sit down.
Thank you, Judge.
In December, that you got open that mailbox and saw a jury summons and you never thought you'd be involved in this, okay? Well, here we are 6 months later, and I thank you. And also in your presence, I want to thank the lawyers. Lawyers in real life don't behave like they do on television, okay? Mr. Staten, Mr. Berry, Ms. Duell, Mr. Lapham, all the members of the staff, they represent the citizens of Wise and Jack County. And I hope that those citizens have had a chance to watch their work because I appreciate it. Sanderson and Mr. Goebel are members of the Regional Public Defender's Office out of Lubbock. That is a government corporation that provides representation to people who are accused of capital murder where the state is seeking the death penalty in counties that have 100,000 in population or less. And that is 195 counties in the state. And all these lawyers do is death penalty cases. So think about that. What they had done in this case, they have to do it in 194 other counties. The professionalism that they demonstrated to each other, the courtesy that they demonstrated to each other makes me a better judge, and I thank you. I thank the sheriff and his staff, bailiffs, and the rock in this room is the lady that's sitting right here in front of me. If y'all will retire to your jury room, I'll be back with some final instructions. Okay, thank you very much. All right.
And there you have it. Tanner Horner receives the death penalty. Judge George Gallagher getting choked up, talking to the jurors and thanking them for their time and explaining, giving his thanks also to the lawyers in this case. It's been a very emotional, trying several weeks for all of the people involved here.
I was just going to say 3 weeks or so of all of this. From the very, just for a brief recap here on everything that has gotten us up to this point, Karen. On day one of this trial, I think a lot of folks were surprised when Tanner Horner pled guilty to all of this. So it avoided a trial of guilt or innocence, but it set off 3 full weeks of a trial on whether he would receive the death penalty or life in prison. We know now that the jury's verdict, what they rendered, what they came back with, was a verdict of the death sentence. And we know that throughout the last couple of weeks here, the jury, the court, people who were sitting in, the families, they sat through not just emotional testimony and evidence, but quite frankly, some very traumatic evidence that had to be shown, that had to be listened to, that had to be talked about. All of that brought us to this point, and we were talking earlier.
It didn't take the jury long.
Quickly they came back with this, because the defense wrapped up sometime, what, 11:30?
About I believe during the 11 o'clock hour, during our 11 o'clock newscast.
11:30 or so, I want to say. Call it 11, call it noon. Either way, here we are, 2:30, so just a couple hours later, with a verdict of the death penalty for Tanner Horner.
Yeah, and I do think for folks who might have missed it a few moments ago, there's Athena Strand's mom there. She's clearly pleased by the verdict. But we're going to show you again what they went through, because the jury did have 2 counts that they needed to consider.
That's right.
One was whether they thought that he would be a danger to others while in the prison system, and the second was whether
life or death, and they said yes to that first count.
Yes, they did. That they thought that he would be a danger to those in the general prison population.
Right. And then number 2, the life or death, and the jury, of course, recommending no life, which means that effectively that means the death sentence for him, which Judge Gallagher said he would sign off on. But let's go ahead and have a listen now, one more time, just a quick playback for you as the judge read the verdict.
Everyone may be seated. Good afternoon. Mr. Presiding Juror, it is my understanding the jury has reached a verdict on both issues.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you'd hand it please to Deputy King. Answers to special issues. Special issue number 1, whether there is a probability that the defendant would commit criminal acts of violence that would constitute a continuing threat to society. Answer, we, the jury, unanimously find beyond a reasonable doubt that the answer to special issue number 1 is yes, signed by the presiding juror. Special issue number 2, whether taking into consideration all the evidence, including the circumstances of the offense, the defendant's character and background, and the personal moral culpability of the defendant, there is a sufficient mitigating circumstance or circumstances to warrant that a sentence of life imprisonment without parole rather than a death sentence be imposed. Answer, we, the jury, unanimously find that the answer to special issue number 2 is no, signed by the presiding juror. Does either side desire a poll?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Anderson, Mr. Goebel, is there any legal reason why sentence should not be pronounced?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Horner, if you stand, please. It's the order of the court that you, Tanner Lynn Horner, has been adjudged to be guilty of the offense of capital murder as found by the jury. Jury having answered the special issues, making it mandatory that your punishment be death, it is therefore the order of this court that your punishment be death. Before the hour of sunrise on a date to be determined by this court, upon a mandate of affirmance issued by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals at the State Penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas, you will be caused to die in accordance with the rules and regulations established by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice until you, said Tanner Horner, are dead. Said execution procedure shall be determined and supervised by the Director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. The clerk of this court shall issue a death warrant in accordance with this sentence directed to the Director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for that purpose. Clerk shall deliver such warrant to the Sheriff of this county and to be by him delivered to the Director of the Department of Criminal Justice together with you, and you will remain to the custody of the Tarrant County Jail to await transportation to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice at Huntsville, Texas, and the execution of this sentence. I will sign this death sentence as required by law. Your appeal of the finding of this guilt by the jury and their determination of the answers to the question in the sentence are automatically appealed to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals in Austin, Texas. You will be appointed a lawyer to represent you on direct appeal, and your lawyer will receive a copy of the record of this case at no charge. You have the right to have a second lawyer to represent you on writs of habeas corpus. It's a separate matter from your direct appeal. Do you wish to have counsel appointed for your writ purposes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I will appoint you writ lawyers for that. Ms. Anderson, Mr. Goebel, if you will remain on his case pending his decision, and we have all the appellate paperwork filled out, I have received his acknowledgement, certification of the right to appeal, and I appreciate you doing that. You may be seated. Is there an allocution?
And there you hear Judge George Gallagher handing down the sentence of death to Tanner Horner. And we also heard from Athena's uncle, who gave the victim impact statement for the family, on behalf of the family.
One of the quotes that he said was, "You will face the wrath of God." And at the very end, he went on to talk about how he not only just took a life, but he ruined a family and so many other lives that were affected by this brutal, heinous crime. He went on to say at the end, quote, "No one is going to remember you after this." He looked at Tanner Horner.
That stood out to me.
Tanner Horner looked back at the uncle. They locked eyes, and he said this to him. So,
he said, you know, you wanted your 15 minutes of fame, you've had it, but no one is going to remember you after this. But Athena's name in her life will be remembered forever.
Our Lauren Crawford has been covering this trial for us. She has stepped outside of the courtroom now. Lauren, we know that the judge gave instructions to folks that once that verdict was read, not to have any kind of reaction, but you know, that part is over now. Wondering now what the sense is inside the courtroom. What are you hearing? What are they saying?
Yeah, Ken, and first off, I just want to say that this is a moment that has been building since the first day of court 4 weeks ago. You mentioned what Athena's uncle just said, and that was really one of the big takeaways, is the safety impact that this whole family felt. They said that the Tanner directly took a little girl's life who trusted the world, and really changed this family forever. They were talking about how they don't let their kids go outside anymore. Really how it's just changed the way that they trust people and do their everyday lives. And that was a big part of his impact statement, as well as really the prosecution's, laying out the case the entire past 4 weeks. But again, this was something that you could really feel on the weight of the shoulders of the jury. We were inside there when they read the verdict just now, and as every judge says in a situation like this, you are in a courtroom, as they remind everybody, do not show reaction whenever it is read. And just to try to explain how much emotion and buildup this case really meant to people. I mean, people couldn't hold back tears. They were trying so hard, and you could just feel the weight on everybody's shoulders as they tried so hard to hold that emotion back. But again, this is something that has been building for years since Athena lost her life, that 7-year-old girl. And to see her parents and her sister, uncle, friends, community in there, I think everybody could just feel that moment of, this is finally the justice that they have been hoping and praying for several years. So that was something that, again, it's really hard to put into words, but if I can try to explain anything that just happened in there, something that maybe y'all can't feel from in the room, that was by far the most emotional moment of this entire trial, was just seeing the family right after the verdict was read by the judge.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can't feel joy in any situation like this, but certainly there has to be a sense of relief that that they feel that justice has been served. Absolutely. This was what they wanted, and this is the jury delivered.
Lauren, I know for members of the media as well, you all had to sit through a lot of heartbreaking testimony and like I said earlier, some traumatic evidence that was given. So great work on your end as well. But once again, the big headline here is that Tanner Horner has been handed the death penalty. Judge Gallagher signing off on that death warrant. That execution date, that was not made today.
Right, it'll come at a later date.
There will be appeals more than likely, and so on and so forth. But it is a verdict that Judge Gallagher accepted on behalf of the jury. And we saw Tanner Horner. He was placed in handcuffs and removed from the courtroom quickly thereafter. Right, he's going to be going to the Tarrant County Jail and then will be sent to Houston. He'll be transferred, to Huntsville rather, where he will be placed on death row. Yeah, in the custody of the Texas Department of Corrections. Yep. And we are going to continue to cover this story. We are going to have much more coverage for you coming up on CBS News Texas at 4 and in our later newscasts as well, and also on the stream. Karen Borda, Ken Molestina, we hope you'll join us then.
This is CBS News Texas.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for CBS News Texas at 11. I'm Karen Borda. Today is a first alert weather day. Right now, though, it's nice outside with temperatures heading toward 90 degrees, but that could all change later today. First alert meteorologist Lauren Boswick is here to explain